Hello and welcome back. You know, it's a funny thing. Yesterday I was at a garage sale, and I often do that. I often go there looking for these old cocktail shakers and jiggers and barware, just for fun. I really love the retro thing. And then I came across this. Do they even make C-size batteries anymore? I don't know. I use the AA's and the AAA's, but I don't even remember the last time I even saw one of them, let alone used one of them. But this thing is really great. It's so funny. And I go to look for it online, and I see that today it's going for $40. Now, I don't know why it would be $40. I imagine back in the day, in the 60s, maybe it sold for $10, which is the equivalent, and maybe it's so expensive today because there's some sort of retro appeal to it. I don't know. But again, I just had to laugh. And I'm looking at this thing, and I said, well, gee, instead of spending $10, $20, $30, $40, why don't I just spend $1 or $2 and get a Pyrex measuring cup? It has all the increments, ounces, milliliters, cups. Or I could just use a spoon to mix my cocktails. Why would I go through the trouble of using a device that has needs batteries, it needs cleaning, you still got to buy the juices. But I just thought this was fantastic. I mean, the marketing wizards behind this, and there's even a patent behind it. So anyway, I'm in the supermarket today, and I'm in the section where they sell the cocktail cherries because these Lujardo cherries are very expensive. They're about $20 a jar, and sometimes I'm just using them as a garnish, and my guests or friends don't even eat them, so I was looking for the cheaper $2 bottle of these maraschino cherries you often get in the ice cream parlor. Next to them, I see these whiskey sour mixes. And I'm thinking, wow, you only get 8 servings, or 4 servings, depending on the mix you buy, but you compare the ingredients side by side, and they're nearly identical. Citric acid, dehydrated corn syrup. I mean, you can't even use sugar. Ascorbic acid for preservative. Just some scary, scary stuff. And I remember seeing these things back in the early 70s. After 50 years, a half a century, we still don't realize that it's just easier, cheaper, and better to use the real thing. What's funny about these powdered mixes is that they put it in a blue box and it's a daiquiri. They put it in a green box, it's a margarita or a mojito. And you put it in the orange box and it's a Tom Collins or whiskey sour. It's almost comical. Citrus, so the produce aisle, and you see the citrus there. And you're getting one lime or lemon is probably going to give you 2 cocktails. And just one of them, which costs like $0.25, is going to give you 2 cocktails. So why people are spending $3 for a powdered mix when it's easier and cheaper and tastes just 100 times better if you buy the fresh stuff? Now, it gets even better when you want to go make a martini. A martini's got to be the simplest thing in the world. And of course, people like their dirty martinis. And I find this bottle that costs about $4. It's a bottle of dirty martini mixer. Basically, what it is just the brine with preservatives in it. And then you look one shelf up, and you could get a full jar with the olives, with the brine, for $4. So why wouldn't you just buy the olives in the brine? Because if it's just the brine you're going to use, are you really using more brine than olives? I don't know. I don't know what people are drinking these days, but it's kind of scary that people are willing to shell out $4 and not get an olive. Just basically get a bottle of preservatives. You want brine, you could even make your own brine. It's salt. That's all it is. And if you want the olive juice, just buy the jar of olives and throw an extra splash in there. There's just so many things that boggle my mind these days, and it's no wonder you walk in some of these chain restaurants and they're still using sweet and sour mix. I guess they do that because in the long run maybe it is cheaper when you're doing something in such volume, but if you're charging me $9 for a cocktail, you better be using fresh juice. And if you're going to charge me $12 because the juice is fresh, then you know what? I'm not going to be drinking anything there other than beer. You got to go to the supermarket anyway. Why would you go down the aisle that has these mixers when you could just go over to the aisle that has the fresh food and get that first? Why would you buy sugar $4? I don't understand that. This right here is comical. The only thing that changes, if you look at the ingredients very carefully, is the number color dye they use. Otherwise, all the ingredients are identical. Drop some green in there, it's an appletini. Drop something else in there, and it becomes a new drink. It's just amazing that people fall for this. Make your cocktails fresh. You're going to really enjoy them a lot more. See you next time. Cheers.